Years ago, a Catholic priest in Scotland made a promise. He said that he would visit the homeland of a man from Nepal whom he just baptized. Now, Father Ninian Doohan completed that promise, but he had to climb the world's tallest mountain to do it. Mount Everest stands more than 29,000 feet. Its first successful climb was way back in 1953. One of the climbers left a wooden crucifix blessed by Pope Pius XII. The father did his trek last month. He climbed more than 17,000 feet to the Everest Base Camp, where he celebrated Mass for world peace. Earlier this week, he spoke with EWTN's Tara Mergen.
Father Ninian Doohan is from the Archdiocese of St. Andrews in Edinburgh. First off, thank you for being here and tell us a little more about why you made the trip to Nepal and Mount Everest. It's crazy. And I understand your dog played a role in making all of that possible.
Yes, and the dog has just jumped up on my lap here. She wouldn't sit down on the so she's just resting here, but
so sweet.
she'll just be out of the view. Yes, the dog played a role in as much as that priests in Scotland don't get very much financial remuneration for the service of the church, and so by having some puppies and selling them to some parishioners, that paid for my flight and the opportunity of getting to Nepal. So as well as thanking Almighty God, the Blessed Virgin, I also asked the children when I was on the mission to thank the dog, so to speak. But yes, why was it undertaken? There's no Catholic church en route to Everest Base Camp. There's about 8,000 Catholics in Nepal of a population of 29 million. But there are an increasing number of converts coming from the countryside. And of course, in the mountainous region where there's so many tourists, there are lots of Catholics from whether it's the United States or Portugal or Spain or Poland, Lithuania, Ireland, so on and so forth. And yet there's no opportunity for spiritual relief.
What was it like making the 8-day trek on Mount Everest, again, all while wearing that cassock? How did you do that?
So, I mean, under normal circumstances, I wear the cassock all the time and have done for the last 20 odd years. So that in of itself is not so much a problem. There was really only 2 days where I had to kind of adapt the soutane to the weather, to the monsoon weather, because you weren't just getting wet from above, you were getting wet from below. And so I had to hike up my cassock just a little bit, but without sacrificing modesty. So, but as far as the physical journey is concerned, even people who are particularly fit, altitude sickness can affect people randomly. And it's 8 days up and 4 days back. And obviously you feel a lot better on the way down than you do on the way up. But very often you just have to practice a great deal of patience. A stretch of a few hundred yards that under normal circumstances you would walk very quickly, sometimes it's literally just one foot in front of the other. And that's because your body is being constrained by every possible element. You're above 5,000 meters, and by the time you get to base camp, you're 17,000 feet.
What was it like celebrating Mass?
Being present at a place that even my fellow trekkers, there were people that were en route with us that didn't make that part of the journey because of ill health. They had to be flown back, or they had to descend for altitude sickness and so on. There's a sense of just gratitude and amidst the exhaustion, and the Lord provided the most perfect conditions possible. We had to plan for what might go wrong, including snowstorm or avalanche in the area, or just monsoon rain, and that there had to be the possibility of a tent on standby, which would involve another trek of 45 minutes deeper into the base camp and further up the mountain. But none of that was necessary. The Lord provided blue skies. We arrived 2 hours ahead of schedule, which we couldn't believe once we were actually there. And for the length of Holy Mass, it was nothing but sunshine.
All right, we're glad you're safe, and congratulations on that successful trek. Father Ninian Doohan, who celebrated Mass last month from atop Mount Everest. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. God bless.